encourage everyone to do take the time, 10 minutes, and speak about your group, what you do, so that we can help you. Like, it was very cool that she was, I'm sorry, what was your first name?
Me?
Yeah.
Gina.
Gina was saying that she had water damage in her home in New York. Well, we don't quite go to New York, but it was nice that she thought about us. So then that's the idea of why we're all doing networking together. So I'm going to do a little bit of question and answer, but first of all, I'm going to just say what we do. We are the paramedics of fire, water, and mold. And my mainstay is water, because water is probably the majority of what we get calls as an emergency service. We also do mold remediation, and I don't know if you know, but in 1 square inch of mold is over 650 million mold spores. So if you have mold in your home, or you suspect you have mold in your home, you want it taken care of as soon as you can, as fast as you can, because that's what's going into your air. And don't use bleach, because it's just going to go out and get into and cause health. So that's the one thing that I always recommend. At least have somebody come in. I don't know if other restoration companies do this, but we do come out at a free service and assess it and let you know the best way to remediate mold. As far as fire, I want you to be aware of fire, because if you have a fire, there's these scanners that the restoration companies use. I refuse to do it. And if they see that you have a fire, they're going to stand out there and start knocking on your door. It's a big business coming in and remediating a home when your house is on fire, or when it's after it's been put out, to get you back up. So they listen to scanners, they come in and they push really fast and really hard and furious to get you to sign that paper. And sometimes they don't necessarily have your best interest in hand. So I recommend always get a second opinion when it's fire or mold. When it comes to water, again, get it stopped as fast as you can, but you can always get a second opinion before, if they're going to come in and just start tearing everything out. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to get your walls torn out because the water's creeped up. Sometimes we can get it taken care of and dried out and in and out. We had a client recently, and she had a burst pipe in her wall, and she had called another restoration company, and they were in there and out. In 2.5 weeks, they got it dried. She had the exact same thing happen this year, and luckily she called us. We went in, we were in and out of there in 3 days. The reason that sometimes a restoration company will come into your home and spend more time in there is because there's a charge. They bring in once the water damage is stopped, the water, it takes time to dry it. So they have a special deal with the insurance companies that they're on the 800 number, that they have a lower price per machine, but they may put in 17 machines when you may only need 4. And there's a charge for every machine. So people don't understand, oh yes, the insurance company has recommended them because they're on their list, but it's not always necessarily the best thing for you. So again, I ask that you just get a second referral, somebody to come in and just walk it through you. We also walk through, when we are caught on any event, fire, water, or mold, we check with your insurance agent before we do anything. Sometimes it's not covered. We have a client right now who just had a huge mold situation and water. And a lot of the restorations will come in and just start tearing. We stopped them. We said, okay, let's look at this. Let's see what your insurance is covered. She must have been like 87 years old. She didn't have a whole lot of money. If another restoration had come in and tore everything out, she would have been stuck with empty walls. I mean, no walls, just. So what we did is we waited to see what was covered, and she was not covered, unfortunately. So we only took care of what had to be taken care of so that she wasn't stuck with empty walls and a lot more damage that was going to have to be repaired. So we walk through the situation with you. We help you with your agents. We help you with the adjusters. And I don't know if anyone who, I know CJ has had to deal with adjusters. Sometimes they also do not have your best interest in hand. That's why I really, if not anything, if you don't use us, just make sure you get a second opinion. Just be aware of what you have to do when it comes to anything. Emergency, yes, it needs to be stopped. If it's water, if it's fire, it needs to be put out. But the remediation, you do have a little bit of time to take care of it. So please make sure you have the right person that comes in, the right person that has your best interest. And I can't stress that enough. So now I'm going to ask a couple questions for you guys. Okay, so I have little prizes. So, first question. How many spores are in a square inch of mold?
650,000.
Wrong.
Okay.
2 million. 650 million.
Yay!
I got 600.
I'll see those 650 million and
Raise you one.
raise you one.
Okay, who knows if you have to go when you have a remediation of any fire, water, mold? Do you, true or false, have to go with who your insurance company calls?
Absolutely not.
I was fast.
I saw no hand.
Ben.
I didn't see hands.
Give it to Ben.
It was, and what's the answer?
Absolutely not.
Good
Right
job.
on. Deborah
You
Solomon.
need
Oh, winner.
to make sure you know the people that are coming into your house.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's Terri. She's coming into your house.
No. You know what?
No,
The
Dale.
one thing about our company, Puro Clean, that's different with the other restoration companies is the first person you will see is Dale, who's my husband and co-owner of this business. He's going to walk you through it. He's not a salesman. He's there to help you and tell you what needs to be done at this time. So the other restoration companies, they have what they call a foreman, who's the first person they see, and that foreman is also / salesman. So the more work they do, the more money they make. We're not in the business to, of course, you know, we're all in business to make money, but we're not in at your expense. Thank you. Yes.
I got a question about the commercial side of things. If we had a customer that was, let's say, isolated to a single suite within a high-rise building, is that something you guys would take care of? And also, let's say it was beyond that and it was multi-floors in the same high-rise building. Where do you guys kind of draw the line with respect to what you're looking for?
What prize does she win for answering it correctly?
You get a Puro Clean multi-faceted
Nice.
That doesn't belong to him to give away.
And I can pull this out of Mark's ear later, too.
Whoa! That's at least.
A separate claim on whoever they are. And right now I'm kind of torn right now because we have one guy who has an insurance policy that's not covering anything of his or his equipment, and he has expensive equipment. And we were referred to by another insurance
Computer
agent.
equipment?
Huh?
Computer equipment?
It was actually a nail spa, this one particular. But it was, and I don't know if it's right for me to call the insurance who recommend us and tell him he should be talking to the store next door because their guy is not so good. How many know what you should be doing when you have a water shut-off valve? Liz?
You should first off make sure you have one of these little things on your water shut-off valve, so not only you can find it in the middle of the night, but everybody else can find it, like my daughter when she comes over. Because this little guy is hanging in it, and you can see it pretty easily.
Good job.
I think she gets 2 for that. Wow. The edge?
The most important thing, and I can't even tell you, not only I always bring my water shut valve labels with me to encourage you when you get home to find out you have a valve. What I have found out, I actually had somebody come back to me and say, guess what? I never checked it to see if it worked. And it didn't. So not only I encourage everyone to take a label, but make sure it works. Fortunately, does anyone know if your water shut valve is not working, what to do?
The main line, shut the main line off.
Good job.
Or call a plumber.
Yeah, 24 hours later.
Call Ben and ask him to bring the laser over.
I can see if you can close the shower door. No, you cannot.
All right, Ben.
Yes.
Back to business here, Ben. Thank you.
Yes.
Is the main line on the street?
Yes.
Yes.
It's on the street. You see that little cement cover? It's in there. So I encourage everyone.
Do you need a special tool?
Yes.
Shut that off?
Yes. Yes,
Now,
you do.
you can use it, you need a screwdriver to
We're
pick up
asking
the
you.
brick first, the concrete.
Okay.
And then once you get in there, it's nice to have the special tool, but you
But
can
you
use
can't.
a wrench
Yes.
or a pair of pliers.
I've done it with nothing.
I have too.
And I disconnected a thing
With
from
your
my
hands?
washer and it
Nice.
just started pouring out. I ran out to the street with my hands, lifted it up and turned it on.
I have done too. But I encourage everyone to make sure it's working.
If you buy the shadow valve,
I want her on my team.
$10.
So, I want to make sure that that question was crystal clear, because it sounded like it may have gotten muddied a little bit. Yes, the answer to your question is yes, it's at the main valve is. What you're referring to where these stickers go is the one at the house. So you can turn it off at the house. So when the washer is flooding, you can walk up and crank that right over. Is that correct?
Kind of, sort of. Well, yes, you're absolutely right. But my statement was is to make sure it's working. If it's not working, the backup is to go to the main.
Right. The one at the house is the one.
Correct.
Is where that is.
Yes.
Because you
The
don't
one
want
at
to
the
put
house.
you don't want to put that down in the street by the garbage can. You want that at the house so you can crank it right there.
Thank you, fearless leader.
Excellent. Is there any other questions as far as fire? Does anyone have any questions? This is a major thing when it comes to fire. Yeah.
I just can say, give a tip to everybody. When something do happen in your house and you call the insurance to report it, do not meet with the adjuster until you met with your contractor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody else. Because adjuster will take advantage of the situation.
You bet.
We
And
just-
tell you, oh, we'll not cover, you didn't reach your deductible.
We just
Yeah.
had a situation with that. Just a second, I'll get back to you. We had just had, that was a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up because that we just had a situation with that. We had a lady who had some water damage, and we went in, and she wanted. What we do is we say, okay, we have steps. This is a step 1, 2, 3. What we do, and then there was possible of mold. So Dale says, okay, we're gonna do this step. Well, in the meantime, the adjuster came in and says, no, you need to use this person and you need to start doing this and you need to do it. Well, what happened was he brought his own guy in. The guy charged her $985 and she called Dale and says, I don't have any money left to do any work. He says, why did he charge you $985? Well, he told me I had to use this guy or else it wasn't gonna be covered. Well, the fact of the matter is, the person we recommend to do the testing is $250. Unfortunately, I learned this recently, and I'm very, very sad to find out some of the adjusters do get referrals for the people they recommend.
Kickback.
So that's why I'm asking everyone: don't listen to your adjuster. They don't necessarily, unfortunately, have your best interest in hand.
You're full shit.
Liz?
I just wanted to contest to that about 4 years ago, and Terri knows this, I had a flood issue in the bathroom. And my adjuster came in from my insurance company and said, I need this, 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 and it was phenomenal. Guys, I'm talking a lot of money. Long story short, if I would have called Terry's company and had got like a second opinion, I would have been 100 times better off. So all of us should at least give her a chance when we have an issue, because she can save us all a lot of money.
Yeah, can I piggyback on that?
Yes.
I had a similar experience to Liz, and I just want to underline what she said. There's absolutely nothing you lose by giving somebody you know, trust, like, and need I say know and see all the time, the opportunity to do a second opinion. It's one phone call, and you better have that thing on your refrigerator, not in your wallet or here, because you can, trust me, when my toilet overflowed on the second floor, it was party time. And I wish to hell 10 years ago I'd had their number, because they screwed up so badly. Over a 2-year period, I had to have them come back and do the same installation 3 times on my kitchen floor. If I had had a good referral to a contractor from Terry and Dale that they knew and trusted and liked, I wouldn't have had those kinds of problems. So your second opinion, if you walk away with nothing from today, second opinion. When the pipe bursts or fire, call these guys. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Thank you. CJ?
Well, I want to make a
That's my prize.
suggestion. The suggestion is to sit down with Terri, have her explain in detail about what they do. I had a major house fire back in 1992, and 3/4 of my roof was gone. We had been in a 4-year drought. The fire started at 6:30. The fire was out at 9:30. 3/4 of my roof was gone. At 10 o'clock, it started to rain for 8 days.
Sounds
So-
biblical.
God was punishing me for something.
Yeah, let's not talk about that here.
And 4 days before that, my ex-wife and I went through the house because we were getting a divorce. Nonetheless, what I want to say is that, of course, in '92 I did have a cell phone, but at that time a lot of people didn't have cell phones, so they weren't calling you in the middle of the night. But what did happen was that I obviously could not sleep in that house that night. I was gone. But at 7 o'clock in the morning, I had given a telephone number to my neighbor about where I was going to be. 7 o'clock in the morning, the phone started ringing. I had calls from contractors. I had calls from Puro Clean type people.
Restoration company.
Restoration companies, I'm sorry. I had calls from
Frustration.
I
Full
had
Puro
calls from
Clean.
everybody and their brother because they were listening to Spanish. At 9 o'clock, I met the adjuster the next morning at 9 o'clock in the morning. She had a contractor there. She had a restoration company there. That restoration company wanted to store my whole house of goods in south central Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And that was right after the riots. And
Location.
and so they wanted to store them down there. Contractor came and said that they would have my house put together in 60 days. It was going to cost $40,000. I put the brakes on everything, but what you have to realize is that when you are all of a sudden displaced from your house, and you have a major fire or some incident like that, you're out of your house, your head is spinning. You're worried about all kinds of things. And the first person that comes in is going to help you is not going to help you. I wound up using a restoration company that was in Simi Valley. Of course, I didn't know Terri then, but in Simi Valley, that was an excellent restoration company. I wound up getting a different contractor that actually cost $126,000 to repair the house. And it wasn't that they just charged more. The insurance covered it. So you need to know all of this stuff beforehand so that when it happens, if it would happen to me again, I would know exactly what to do.
Call Terri.
So you call Terri first, and I'm sure Terri, I'm sure you know other people that you could recommend that would be contractors and other people that you would need for.
CJ brought up 3 really good points that I want to just end with, if I can. First thing is everyone has a cell phone. I know right now you're not going to need us, but when you need us, you're going to need us in a second. And why not just put our number in your cell phone right now? I mean, is that you have a number. And it doesn't cost anything to call us. The second thing that CJ brought up, which was very, very important, is somebody local. You know, a lot of times these people have companies, but who knows where they're from. You want someone local because your house, whether it's fire, water, or mold, needs to be checked on a daily basis, not on a weekly basis, not on every 4th day. They need to be back and check if the machines are still running, if it's drying correctly. If it's not, it needs to be reassessed and how it needs to be dried. So important that you have somebody local within a 45-mile radius, because you need it to be. And I can't tell you how many times there's somebody coming. I drive on the freeway and I'm like, where did they come from? And the last thing I want to bring up is I do have these coupons that I give to insurance agents. It's $150 off of jobs under 1,000 and $250 off of jobs over 1,000. Please take it. You're welcome to have it to put in your files for whatever you need it. Please remember. And thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate it. If any questions later, please let me know.
Great job.